own children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, then he cannot be my disciple. If we don't love God more than everything else, we cannot be God's disciple. We cannot do it. And for this man, that's the decision he had to make. In the end, both of these men had to count the cost. And Jesus' disciples got in the boat. They got in the boat. And they still, even though now they're in the boat, they still didn't know where they were going. You know, it never says, we're going, it just says, let's go. So they get in the boat, after counting all the costs, they still don't know where they're going. And, you know, sometimes when we follow God, we may never get all the details ahead of time. When I went to Korea, I was prepared to leave my home. I was prepared to miss Thanksgiving, which is a very big holiday in my family. And I was prepared to talk to everyone over Skype and, you know, try and catch up on UT football over the internet. But one day I walked into the cafeteria of my school, and before I walked in, I get a distinct smell of feet and fish. I wish I were joking. And I get to the cafeteria, and the feet smell is coming from the soup, and the fish smell is coming from squid. And this is not like calamari where it's kind of breaded and then, you know, deep fried or something. What they've done is they've taken the squid and they've cut off the tentacles, they boil the tentacles, and they throw it on the plate. And from the looks of it, when I first saw it, I thought that it would grab back when I went to go get it. It was terrible. And I sit down, and all of my teachers, it's like I just pulled out a pack of gum. They're all looking at me. They're wondering, do you think you like it? And finally, my head teacher looks up and says, you should try it. It's good. And so I did, and I'm here to tell you today that she lied to me. It was terrible. It is the worst food I've ever had, and I don't ever want it again. But it's in that moment that I realized that I was ready to give up a lot of things. I was ready to give up my family, my holidays, my home. But I was not ready to give up my diet. I hadn't reached that point yet. And, but we may never know the full cost when we go. And it's something we just kind of have to deal with. This is what it means to follow Jesus. You get in the boat and you trust God to get you through. You may not know where you're going. You may not even know what it will cost. But you do know one thing. You didn't get into the boat alone. And when the storms come and when things are really rough, when life is dragging you down and you think you're going to drown and you're completely out of control, you can call on the God who calms the storm. And He will be there for you. Now God, He doesn't ask everyone to make the same sacrifices. In fact, what He usually asks is He asks us to sacrifice our opinion for His way. It's my way for God's will. That's the normal sacrifice, and it's a hard one. Because, you know, I haven't experienced a lot of this, but from what I understand, as we get older, we get into habits and routines, we form certain attitudes about things. I've experienced this a little. Everyone kind of does this. Doesn't matter their age. But sometimes change aggravates us because of those routines and habits and attitudes. And things aggravate us. Technology aggravates us. Windows Vista is a great example. I used XP for years, and I went to Vista, and I was so angry because it wasn't everything. But sometimes we really like our methods that have worked well in the past. You know, or they didn't work well, but they worked good enough. so we try and do the same things. We don't want a lot of new technology changes, new programs, problems. Really frustrating. We just want to do it our way. You know? But sometimes we're not called to do the same thing, the same old way. Sometimes when we try and do the same thing in a different context, it won't work like it did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Sometimes God wants us to do something different. In Jesus' case, Jesus had a big crowd. He probably had a crowd bigger than what was on the mountain. Because now he's in the city, he's down in the valley. He has a lot of people there. But he wasn't about to preach another sermon. It was time for him to do something else in ministry. And Jesus would eventually come back to Capernaum. But when he came back, he still did something different. He preached a different sermon. So sometimes what God is asking us to give up, he's asking us to give up what we want to do. And sometimes that's harder than leaving home. Sometimes it's harder than eating really weird food. But it's what he calls us to. And, you know, I'm just wondering, when was the last time we prayed for a month, or 2 months, or 3 months? Lord, give me someone to help. Instead of us praying, Lord, help us. We need to search for where God is working in people around us, in our communities. We need to search for where he wants to work in our lives. And the only way that we can really figure out God's will is by prayer. And by continually praying and seeking the will of God. And we may never get all the details. But sometimes God calls us just to give him praise. Usually, in times of transition, when, leadership is not strong, or when you don't, when you're searching for direction, those are usually the times when my way comes out. And my way will usually do a lot of damage to what God wants and the direction he wants to go. And if you don't believe me, read just about any passage between Genesis and 2 Chronicles. It's there. Especially Judges. But we may not know the places, we may not know the people, we may not know the issues, the methods, we may not even know where the next bathroom is, but we still need to get in the boat and follow Jesus. So what I'd like to do is, if you're willing to get in the boat and follow Jesus, please stand. Okay, now please, let's come down here and let's pray for a bit. The Lord will show us. Here we go. In what way he wants us to go. Pray for the Lord's will. If you're going through a storm, pray for it to be calm. So let's sit and pray for that. The just curious.